Welcome to the Profit Talks podcast, hosted by the Orange County Inland Empire SBDC Network, funded in part by the U.S. Small Business Administration and the California Office of the Small Business Advocate. This show is the go-to resource for business owners seeking empowerment, education, and resources to succeed. Join us as we connect you with experts, share the triumphs of fellow entrepreneurs, and reveal the wealth of assistance available to you today to level up your business. So let's go. Let's dive in and learn more. And boy, we're going to learn about your business today here. You thought you knew how to run your business. There is a new sheriff in town. There's a new way coming to do things. And we've all heard it. It's called AI. No, don't run. Don't be scared. We got somebody in here who is an AI expert who has positioned herself at the front of this revolution and is going to share. She's going to make us feel calm about it. Is that right? Giselle Hasman from the SBDC, the Small Business Development Centers.
That's right.
Let's start with who you are. You don't look like some scientific geek. You don't look like you've got a white coat on and 20 years of programming or something here. Who are you? Where'd you come from?
Sure. So my name's Giselle Hasman, as you mentioned, and I actually started in marketing. So marketing is my background.
And for Experian, that was why I went on your LinkedIn. You did a lot. You had a lot of experience with Experian, the big company here that gathers financial data and stuff here and tells you whether your credit's good or not.
Exactly. Yeah, I started with them as a media buyer, so I bought ads for them. Mm-hmm. So if you ever heard of Experian.com or freecreditreport.com, I basically bought digital ads for them and mobile ads for them.
Right.
And then I switched over.
I've got that app. I downloaded it. And we've had people in here from Experian talking about that. So I'm not trying to give Experian a free ad, but they got a lot of stuff in that free app if you want to track your credit scores and what's happening. And,
Exactly. Yeah, they were great. And they charge a membership. And yeah, that's what I did. I basically had, at one point, I think $5 million budget myself per month in ad spend. So they definitely spent a lot of money in
we'll
digital
get them
ads.
to spend some on OC Talk Radio here.
I know, right? Exactly.
All right. So, and what attracted you to that? Because forgive me, but you don't look like a data nerd. You don't look like maybe an ad executive. I don't know what they're supposed to look like, but they don't look like you for some reason.
Definitely not. I started selling ads, so I started in sales. So I think I probably look more like a salesperson. I'm not sure, but that's what it was more sales and marketing.
Okay.
And then
you're born locally here somewhere?
Yes, I was born in LA in Torrance, but raised here in Orange County, all throughout Orange County. So in Yorba Linda and in Newport Beach.
And I'm going to raise one thing, and I don't normally delve that far back in, but we were talking beforehand. You are a first-generation child of two immigrants, right?
Yes.
Tell us about that little quick story here. Because I guess what I'm getting to is when they came to America, what did your parents do, and did they see you becoming this? Are you the next evolution of that immigrant journey for them here?
I love that. Yes, absolutely. So my mom came from Cuba, and my dad came from Peru. So yeah, I'm first generation here. My dad was a professional artist. My mom was basically like a real estate agent, completely different than what I'm doing. But they're very happy, of course.
And when you said, I wanted to go into sales, did they say hooray, or did they say what?
They saw I was really happy in sales, and I really enjoyed it. And I think that they just wanted me to be happy in whatever I did. I liked it immediately as soon as I started in sales.
Okay.
Yeah.
So from that sales background, then did you open your own agency and do some things, or did that come later?
Yeah. So first I started in TV advertising. I sold TV advertising. Then I went into print. I worked for the Orange County Register, and then I worked and then I started my agency right after Experian. So it's been over 10 years. I've had GQ and Company, my agency. So.
And forgive me again, I'm not trying to throw cold water on it, but buying ads has got to be harder because the media has fragmented and fallen apart. Mm-hmm. The Register, the once mighty Register, is not what it once was. No. The LA Times isn't what it once was. TV isn't what it once was. It has threatened by cable and the internet and a million other channels. So it seems like there used to be a number, somebody told me. It was a guy I knew, I'll take a little dive down a rabbit hole here. Yeah. Guy worked for Procter & Gamble. So they came out with a new product. They knew the number, what it cost to break a new product, soap or something, into the marketplace. So much in ads, so much in billboards, so much in TV and radio. That has fallen apart. I don't know how you create a media budget anymore with millions of media outlets.
It's overwhelming now. I don't know how people do it either. Yeah, and it's changed so much, and it's going to change with AI. It's going to change so much too, I think.
All right, and I guess what I'm getting at, did you see an opportunity to pivot into something new? Because you joined the SBDC, as I have too, in full disclosure, and that means you still got a full-time gig somewhere, but you devote a certain amount of time to helping others, and they pay us to do this, funded by the SBA and everything here, but it is a way to expand your skills and see some other stuff. Is that how you came? What brought you to the SBDC?
Yeah, I had my own agency, and then I had a child. So it kept me very busy. So I liked that the SBDC I could work part-time and had these flexible hours, but I was still able to do what I love, right?
Boy or girl? Let's do a shout out.
Girl. Her name's Emily. She's 7 years old.
There you go,
Yes,
Emily. This is for you.
Yes.
She's tuning in right now here.
Exactly. Yes. So I loved that I could just have the flexibility, still use my background, help businesses. And so it was a perfect fit for me. And now I've been at the SBDC for over 3 years.
Okay. Now, SBDC, you're in the marketing center, as am I. They call me up for podcasting and stuff. What do they call you up for? Anything, everything? What kind of clients do you interface with?
Yeah, so any kind of digital marketing, from social media to SEO to paid campaigns. And I have every different kind of client, from a Pilates studio to like a medical company. It's all across the board, and I think that's what I love about it, though, because I learn so much about so many different industries. So I'm always challenged, and in a good way.
You actually say, in a weird way, you learn more from them because they're bringing you real-world challenges up to the moment, not something that you learned 10 years ago at some other company or in a textbook. Yeah. Here's what we're struggling with today. And you said that's how you stumbled into AI. Tell that story of how you found some company to help write social media posts better through some client of yours.
Yes, it was right when I first started the SBDC. I had a client, and I was teaching her social media and content calendaring, and she said, "Have you seen this app? It's called the Writer.me." And I'm like, "No, what is it?" She showed it to me, and it was an AI platform that helped you write social media posts.
Wow.
And I immediately was like, "This is a game changer." Oh my gosh. And so I started to teach all of my clients about it. So yeah, I always say I learn so much about everything digital marketing from my clients and their businesses, of course, as well.
So that started another fascination, because now I see AI all over the place. And when I go to AI, or when I go to SBDC, there's 100 some consultants a couple times a year that bring us together, and various consultants get up and talk about what they did. You've actually given some presentations about this. You're the AI queen or whatever, or princess or AI expert. I don't know. Maybe it's not a royalty, but you seem to be the one at the top, one of those really pushing this further and pioneering its use for businesses.
Yeah, I think there's just so many use cases and so many ways I see it helping, especially small businesses. We work with small to medium-sized businesses, and they don't always have an agency that they can hire or extra people that they can hire to just handle social media. So I
love making ice cream, but I don't know how to sell it.
Exactly. So it's great to have this tool that can help you do more and automate more. And so I feel marketing and AI really go hand in hand very well.
But Giselle, this is for Experian. This is for General Motors. This is for Boeing. This isn't for Giselle's ice cream shop or a local small business, is it? How can I use it in my small business?
Yeah, absolutely. From a solopreneur to a huge corporation, you can use it. I've told this story many times. The other day, I was getting ready to go to dinner, and I came up with a business idea. And as I was getting ready, putting on my makeup, doing my hair, I just asked AI, I said, okay, here's my business idea. Now help me create a business plan, a marketing strategy, a pitch deck, all the pricing for it.
And I'll be back in an hour from dinner. And
Pretty much. Yeah. By the time I was ready to go to dinner, all of it was done for me.
Wow.
Yeah.
You understand how I'm a little older here. It's a little hard for me to grasp some of this stuff here sometimes.
Sure.
What is it that it does? We're talking about ChatGPT and
Yes.
Gemini and all these new things. And in its basic, it does what? It just goes out to the internet and aggregates all the data it finds and summarizes it for you? Is that too simple an explanation?
No, that's a perfect explanation. I really like to look at it as it's my personal assistant. It makes me a superhuman because I can put business plans together in seconds, right? I can put social media posts together in seconds. But yes, it's so many use cases. And every day I'm finding new use cases. I'm like, oh my gosh, I didn't think about it. I could do it for this and for that. Yeah.
For anybody who's sat in a meeting with Giselle, they're asking us questions. How would you do this? And what would you do this? And there's Giselle saying, well, I just asked ChatGPT. I just went on. Do we stop? Does it? This is the fear. Let's talk about the fears a little bit. Does it replace people? Does it replace thinking? Does it replace creativity? Or is it just another tool, like a laptop was once upon a time, as revolutionary as that was, to make us do it faster and better?
Yeah, I'm glad you're bringing that up because it is a big topic. I feel I get it all the time. AI would just exist as AI, but it couldn't be anything or do anything without a human making it do it.
Okay.
So I feel like I always tell people, AI can help you get there, whether it's writing a blog, doing social media posts, writing a business plan, 70, 80% of the way. It needs a human to finish it and to polish it and to make it perfect because it's not perfect. So it's always going to need a human to create.
In fact, sometimes it's wrong.
100%. And it happens all the time. It's actually called hallucination.
Yeah.
And there's a name for it.
And it comes out and it gets bad data. It's reading the wrong, because everything on the internet ain't true. We know that. So it's just analyzed. It somehow instantly goes out and analyzes massive amounts of data.
Yeah. Yeah. And sometimes it makes things up and or the way you ask it doesn't want to give it to you for whatever reason. And it's a matter of how you ask it.
Or it wants to give you something, but it doesn't quite know. So it's assuming. It's fudging it a little bit. Let's talk about this. All came out of what used to be the hot topic. This is what in the media world they call a buzzword. A buzzword is something that I don't know what it is, but when there's a buzz, when people say it, everybody stops talking. Ooh, he's talking about AI. Ooh, she's talking about this. It's a word that instantly gets everybody excited, and many times we're not sure really what it means, but we know it's hot, and I should listen because this is important new stuff. The buzzword a few years ago on this station I would hear was big data. We're going to put sensors on everything, my toaster, my TV, my refrigerator, so I can go to the store and say, is there any milk in there? And I can look and say, there's no milk in the refrigerator. And I gave you some examples of years ago. We had a chief data officer for I think that's what he called himself, for the city of Los Angeles. And he said, we're measuring pipes all the time. We want to see if they're breaking, leaking. But we're measuring the water going through it. What else can we measure? Now we're measuring COVID. Is there COVID in the water? Are people still got COVID?
Wow.
Are there too many hormones in the water? Why are girls coming of age earlier and faster or something? All this stuff
data
we never thought we would do. And he said the problem is there's so much data being collected, we don't know what to do. A human can't make sense of it. Is that when AI stepped in, the robot said, we'll take it from here?
Yes, it definitely can consume a ton of data and make sense of it, as you mentioned before, which is incredible because, humans, that's something humans can't do.
So big data, and there is big controversy about it because right now it's going out and reading all the posts in the world and all the movies it's ever seen and all the YouTube videos. And some people are saying, wait a minute, you're looking at my copyrighted stuff. I don't want you copying my copyrighted stuff. Is there still something to be sifted through the legalities of this, how much data it can analyze and what it can use and what it can't use? Yeah,
and I think all that's still being really worked out and figured out and talked about a lot is data privacy and all of that. And that's another top question I get is how much can I trust that it's not getting my data out there?
Yeah, right.
So that's a big topic.
Because we're putting more blockages up. HIPAA is the big one, Health Information Protection Act. Maybe I don't want to tell everybody I've got some deadly disease. Maybe they won't hire me. Maybe they won't do something with me. Maybe they'll discriminate against me or something here.
100%.
Yeah, so all of a sudden we're blocking off certain blocks of data. And the poor robot says, the more you tell me, the better the answer is, so
Correct.
tell me everything.
Yes, give it all to me. And that's actually one of the things I say is the more AI knows who you are and what you need, the better it can answer your questions. And it will actually, ChatGPT has memory in it. You can have it memorize things. So when I get into that's when people definitely are like, wait a minute.
I don't know.
Yeah.
All right, so now we're getting into the freaky stuff here, and I've experimented with it. I've played with it. I do podcasting. Okay. All of a sudden, I want to edit my podcast. Well, I learned editing in college. You go through and you labor. I learned it back in the day when it was a piece of tape, and you cut the tape and you pasted it together. Now it's a digital thing. It's on a digital a DAW center, a digital audio workstation here. Mm-hmm. And it still looks the same, and I can go in and snip this piece out, snip this out, and do things with it. But it's still a manual effort. Now I just say through things like Descript is the big hot one. Mm-hmm. It turns it into words because it can chop up words easier, apparently. And then I say, pull that word. She just said, take out, every time she says it. Poof, gone. And it sounds seamless. What the heck was I doing spending hours cutting this stuff apart and chopping it up when I can just tell it, get rid of these phrases, get rid of these words, get rid of these filler words, or something like that. Talk about that, how it rapidly, that's one example. They're doing it in movies. They're doing it in this. They're doing it in writing. I want to write my book report. I'm 12, and your daughter's 7. She wants to write her book report someday. Is she just going to say, write my book report while I'm watching TV?
Yeah, that's an interesting conversation, too, about writing in school and education with AI now. But, yeah, no, even doing, back to your point about the video scripting.
Repetitive tasks, laborious tasks, right?
Yes, can be now done very quickly and easily. So, again, a small company can now do so much more, so much faster, and be more efficient because of these tools. But to your point about the school situation, I actually, one of the speeches I did on AI, I had a professor come up to me and say, by the way, how do I know if my students are using AI to come up with their papers?
Exactly.
And there are apps that can detect AI.
Of course. Yeah, absolutely.
However, there's now apps that are undoing that work so they cannot be detected.
So one detects it and one blocks it, and back and forth, and we go. Because that is one of, I'm an older guy, so one of the things, I'm going to sound like a grumpy old guy here, but it was the same thing that happened when they brought calculators in. You're way too young to remember, but I remember when college, when they introduced the calculators, and rather than a slide rule, do I really have to understand the mechanism of this complex equation, or do I just have to memorize how to push a certain sequence of buttons? Boop, there's the answer. I don't really know what the answer is, how they got to it, but I know if I push this and this, I get the answer. Now it's even simpler. If I say this and this, I get the answer. Am I losing the underlying analytical skill or understanding that before I could ask that question, I had to understand what it was doing?
Yeah.
I had to understand the audio wave and how it worked before I say, just take these words out. Or is that an unimportant thing to know anymore here?
I think it is important for sure. And I think that education is going to have to change. People have talked about how maybe papers don't really exist anymore. Maybe there's a different way of teachers knowing our knowledge as a student versus papers, because AI can do it, as I just mentioned.
Paper,
and we can undetect it. And so maybe there's a different way of going about it. But I do think it's important to know things functionally.
For example, when I studied computers a million years ago, computers had just come out. And I always tell people the story. I bought one. It was an AST, which was used to be made in Orange County here. And the AST computer had 500,000 characters it could remember. That's what, 1/2 of a megabit, right?
Yeah.
Megabit's a million. This is 500,000. Had a 1/2 megabit memory. And I went to the guy and I said, is that enough? He said, how many, because this is mostly letters and numbers, how many letters are you going to have to remember? How many A, B, C's, and when you're writing a word, come on, 500,000, and that's ridiculous. A program to load takes not just 20 megabytes, it might take 20 gigabytes, billions of data just to load the darn software into your system here. So what was once inconceivable amounts of data is now the norm. So in that world, can a human process that much stuff? No, we need help.
We need help for sure. Yeah. I always talk also about the calculator, going back to your calculator example.
Right.
When I was in school, is you need to know this because you're not going to have a calculator when you need in your hand when you need to know, I don't know, whatever calculation.
Figure something in your head. Let's see, does that
like
make sense?
Like a tip or whatever. But now we do have calculators in our hands.
Yeah, that darn smartphone does everything. It's pretty smart.
Yeah. And now on top of it even more, now we have AI. So sometimes I'll say, give me 30% of that if this person has, and it'll just tell me. So it's...
Or scenarios. If I do this or I do this, give me some choices here. Analyze it for me. And then give me some choices that I can make. But I still got to make the choice.
Yeah.
All right. It is a brave new world. In many ways, it is a frightening new world. But give us some real-world examples of clients you work with, or tangible things they did. This is mom and pop, middle America, mom and pop, small owner, who doesn't have computer savvy that much, doesn't understand any of the underlying technology, but decided if I master this simple little thing, here's what I get.
There's so many, and each day I'm learning new ways of helping my clients. But one of the top ways I think being in marketing is obviously social media, right? It's making that every business, small or large, wants to be on social media.
Gotta be. You got to be talking to your customers. They're looking for you.
That's right. And it takes a lot of time to create the ad, to come up with the content, to come up with the text overlay, all the things, to schedule it. AI can help you really fast forward all of that. Come up with the content, go into, let's say, Canva or into a video platform.
Canva being that place that suddenly everybody knows about, where you make these little layouts and templates for your little post on Instagram or Facebook, or so it's laid out in the right size, and it has some little templates and pictures, and you just fill it in and add to it.
That's right. Canva helps create posts, it helps create videos, it helps create presentations. It's endless, but it also has an AI piece to it that helps you create social media posts with AI. So it's definitely a tool that a lot of small businesses use.
So if you got to crank out content like a fire hose to fill up all these channels, this is the hose you may want to use. Don't use it, though, just to endlessly get garbage, because that doesn't mean everybody's going to look at your Facebook post just because you came up with clever little pictures of cats.
That's right. That is where the human comes in, right? Because AI is just going to come up with whatever, very generic stuff. It's the human that's got to make it exciting and tell stories and have background. And so that's where we come in, and that's where I help my clients as well.
And is your help to write the post so that you come up with creative? Because that's my challenge, is do this, and I say, I don't like that. And then somebody says, well, do this in your voice, and here's an example of something I want to do. I got a better result. And the better the query, the better the question, the better the answer.
100%. Yeah, I have a form where I tell my clients to fill out that has all their background information on their company. We actually run that through AI so that AI now knows about your company, your message, your voice, what you want to accomplish in your messaging. And off of that, then I start to ask it to create a social media calendar.
And then the other thing is you're not just the translator speaking this strange robotic language or knowing how to communicate. It's not a language, but how to communicate to it in a way that you get a better result. It's then imagining. Roger, who runs our center, said, how about I used to have a restaurant a million years ago, and oh my God, writing the schedule, particularly everybody's part-time. I forgot Giselle can work on Tuesdays and this and that and everything. It was a nightmare. It took forever to try and write up a schedule. Now, I guess these things can be automated somehow, and with AI, and you're going to work schedules and stuff.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, it's so much easier now. I think there's new platforms coming out every day.
Daily.
It's hard to catch up, actually. There's a website called There's an AI for
It's an AI for that.
There, you literally put in the search bar what kind of tool you need, and it will give you a huge list.
Wow.
And there's new ones every day, so it's definitely growing.
We're glad that we have a new one like you who has embraced this technology, not run from it, and has been playing with it and learning both ways. I got an idea, I put it into my clients, and then they come back to me and says, yeah, but there's another way to do this and another thing. And you go, okay, good, I'm going to share this with the next 10 clients. You're deeply immersed in this world. How do they reach you if they want to find out, if they want to talk AI?
Yeah, so I believe we have a link to the SBDC where you can sign up.
And I don't know what it is off the top of my head, but we can find it. We'll have to find it somewhere.
I think if you Google SBDC, there's an easy way to sign in on the homepage, and then you can ask for me, Giselle Hasman.
Or ask generically, I need some help with some AI. Can somebody show me what this thing does, how it can help me, and how it works?
Yes.
And they'll probably send you to, they won't send you to me because I have no idea, but they'll send you to Giselle, and she will say it. Do you ever have to go to your 7-year-old daughter and say, show me how this works?
No, I've been showing her, and she loves it. She's obsessed with it. She'll ask it questions. And
because I have grandchildren about that age. I have grandchildren, and oh my God, half the time it's like, show me how to do this thing. And they're like, Grandpa, here, I got it. I know exactly how to do this.
Yeah, she's at that age where she's learning about it and curious about it.
Because they're digital natives. They're growing up. This is their first language, not an acquired language.
That's right, 100%.
All right, Giselle Hasman. How do we spell Hasman?
Yes, and you can also find me on LinkedIn.
How many S's and L's do we put in Giselle these days? Sarah?
I know. I'm doing one L, so Gisele.
One S and one L? Oh, that's too strange. Everybody's got to put 5 L's and 2 S's.
I know. Multiple E's.
Multiple E's. Giselle. Gisele Hasman. Look her up on LinkedIn. She has her own private company to work on this. And if you want to go through the SBDC, it's free. Why not? Start there. Get some consultation. Have her look at your business. See if she can't come up with some clever ways to improve the operation, speed things up, save you some time, and maybe, just maybe, get some better results from what you're doing here. Thank you so much. It's a fascinating world that you're into here, and I hope you come back sometime and tell us more about it here.
Will do. Thank you so much, Paul.
All right. Thank you. All right. Stick with us. As we conclude another episode of the Profit Talks podcast, we hope we've empowered your entrepreneurial spirit. Reach out to us to connect with our experts, and let's take your business to the next level. Keep those dreams alive, keep pushing forward, and stay tuned for more. And if you liked what you heard in today's podcast and you want your business to reach new heights, just contact us at profittalkspodcast.org or call us at 1-800-616-7232. That's 1-800-616-7232. So until next time, keep thriving.